Bless, 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 bless. All praise belong to the Most High. All wise, all seeing, all knowing, all divine. All praise belong to the Most High, the Almighty. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Yah is truly faithful. Cameron, the messenger. Preachers are robbing the church. In the book of 1 Corinthians, the 9th chapter, verses 11 through 19, we have sown spiritual seeds among you. Is it too much if we reap material benefits from you? If others have the right to expect this from you, have not we an even greater right? But we have not made use of this right. Instead, we have endured everything in order to not put an obstacle in the way of the good news about Yahshua. Surely you know that the men who work in the temple get their food from the temple, and those who offer sacrifices on the altar get a share of the sacrifice. In the same way, the Lord has ordered that those who preach the gospel should get their living from it. But I have not made use of any of these rights, nor am I writing this now in order to claim such rights for myself. I would rather die first. Nobody is going to turn my boast into empty words. I have no right to boast just because I preach the gospel. After all, I am under order to do so. And how terrible it would be for me if I did not preach the gospel. If I did not my work as a matter of free choice, then I could expect to be paid. But I do it as a matter of duty, because Yah has entrusted me with this task. What pay do I get then? It is the privilege of preaching the good news without charging, without claiming my right in the work of the gospel. I am a free man, nobody's slave, but I make myself everybody's slave in order to win as many people as possible. Spirit of the Apostle Paul, he's suffering and he's dealing with the question that the church has right now for every preacher and every pastor. The church right now is asking the Apostle Paul, why are you getting paid? Why do you want so much money to preach and labor in the gospel? But Paul and his spirit is saying, I have not made use of any of these rights. He found it abuse to be able to get paid to preach the gospel of the Most High. He said, what material benefits should I reap? This is the question that many people have been suffering and asking throughout the centuries in the church. They was dealing with it back there in the days of Corinth, and we are dealing with it in these days and times now. Every church and every member leave church asking, how is the pastor blessed and the congregation is still broke down and poor? How is the pastor living so lavishly and the congregation is living so poor? Because the pastor is reaping the material benefits all by himself. It say that they are supposed to take a share of the sacrifice, not the whole sacrifice, man. Are you getting what I'm telling you? It's too many preachers and too many pastors in our day and age that don't just want the offer from the temple. They just don't want your tithes and offering. They want the whole offering from the temple. They just don't want a portion of the offering being laid at the sacrifice. They want the whole sacrifice so that they can fill their pockets up and continue to take care of their families while your grandmother and your grandfather is still lacking. Are you getting what I'm telling you? Paul said, what then is my reward for preaching the gospel? What then is my reward for standing up for the good news about Yahshua the Messiah? Are you getting what I'm telling you? It's the wickedness of man. It's the propaganda of the prophet. It's the propaganda of the apostle. But the spirit of the apostle is saying that my privilege for preaching the gospel is my reward. Are you getting what I'm telling you? It's too many preachers and too many pastors out here that's suffering for material awards and material benefits. Paul said, what then is my reward? What am I getting paid for? He said, when will I seek the gifts of the Almighty? He says, my gift to be able to preach the gospel and the good news, to win as many people as I can to the kingdom of heaven. The scripture says, go out and preach the kingdom of heaven. It's too many preachers not preaching the kingdom of heaven. People are leaving church Sunday in and Sunday out, left down, broken, weak, asking God, where are you in the middle of my situation and my circumstances, where you just continue to give your blessings away? Every time God bless you with something, you want to turn around and stand in these fake money lines with these preachers begging you for your offering. And you wonder, what the blessings of the Lord is. You've been given the blessings of the Almighty away. Yes, the preacher is supposed to reap the benefits, but Paul said, I abuse not this right. He said, Timotheus abused not this right. He said, Barnabas abused not this right. He said, when you abuse this right and you take money from people, it puts an obstacle in the way of the good news of Yahshua. People start to take their eyes off the good news and they begin to put their eyes on the money, on the offering. People sit down in the offering seats when you raising your money lines after you just preached a good word, and now you just robbed and choked the word out of these people who don't have money to give. They're giving their last bill money so they won't sit there and begin to cry or feel bad because they don't have, because they're in lack and they're in need. Not even taking consideration of those who are amongst you, just because you're not preaching with the spirit and the anointing of the Holy Ghost. Are you getting what I'm telling you? Paul said, what then is my reward for preaching the gospel? He said, I wasn't burdensome unto you. He said, all of this that you brought in my life, these gifts that you're offering me, he said, I refuse to take them. He said, I'd rather die before I take any money from you. He said, when I was in lack, when I was in need, he said, others brought me money. He said, I didn't ask anything of the church. He said, I went without. He said, I didn't claim this right. He said, though it was an order from Yahshua the Messiah, your Jesus the Christ, he said, he ordered me to get blessed, to be able to take money, to be able to take the material benefits. He said, but I didn't abuse this right. It's too many pastors abusing this right. It's too many pastors and false prophets abusing this right, taking advantage of the people. Are you getting what I'm telling you? That's the wickedness of man. That's the wickedness that they have brought and polluting the gospel of Christ, the good news of God. Are you getting what I'm telling you? Watch this now. In the book of 2 Corinthians, the 11th chapter, verses 7 through 11, he said, I did not charge you anything when I preached the good news of God to you. He said, I humbled myself in order to make you feel important. He said, was I wrong? While I was working among you, he said, I paid other churches. He said, I was paid by other churches. I was robbing them, so to speak, in order to help you. He said, the brothers helped me when I was in need. He said, the brothers brought me everything that I need from Macedonia in the past, and so it shall be in the future. He said, I will never be a burden unto you. He said, by Yahshua's truth in me, he said, I promise that this boast of mine would not be put to silence anywhere in Achaia. That's Greece. He said, I say this because I don't love you. He said, God knows I love you. He said, the Apostle Paul, in the spirit of the Apostle Paul, peace be upon him, he said, when I came to you and preached the good news, he said, when you brought me to your church, he said, I didn't ask for anything. He said, I didn't take anything. He said, I didn't take a wage of you. He said, you offer it. He said, but I didn't take it. See, when you come to the people churches, pastors, you got to stop taking these offerings. You got to stop taking wages. Some of you pastors are getting paid $5,000 and $10,000 to come to speak in these people churches for only an hour, and you're abusing your right for preaching the kingdom of God. Paul said, it's my privilege. He said, what then is my reward? He said, that is laid up in heaven. The Apostle Paul said, woe unto me if I preach not this gospel. You can ask Jeremiah what it calls if he don't preach the kingdom of God. Jeremiah said it was like fire shut up in my bones when I wanted to keep silent. You can ask Job, who was thrown over the side when he tried to hide himself on the vessel, and the great fish swallowed him for not wanting to preach the gospel and the kingdom of God unto the people for free. Paul said, I did not abuse this right when I came unto you. I preached the gospel of Christ for free. He said, I wasn't burning unto you. He said, it's a burden unto the people for you to continue to think that these people are supposed to take care of you and your whole family and pay for you and your whole family's way of life. Are you getting what I'm telling you, preacher? It's time for you to wake up and come back to your right senses. Are you getting what I'm telling you? And stop abusing the kingdom of God. He said, go and preach the kingdom of God. Watch this now. In the book of Matthew, the 10th chapter, verses 7 through 10, Christ told his disciples, he said, go and preach the kingdom of heaven is near. He said, heal the sick, bring the dead back to life, heal those who suffer from dreadful skin diseases, and drive out demons. He said, you have received this gift without paying for it. He said, so you should give this gift without paying for it. He said, don't carry gold, silver, or copper in money in your pockets. He said, don't carry a beggar's bag. Are you getting what I'm telling you? It's too many preachers out here carrying beggar's bags to churches, asking the congregation for all of their money, not considering the needs of the people, not considering the hardships of the people. I once heard a preacher tell a pastor that he's gonna charge him over $5,000 to $10,000 to come to his church and preach a good word to his people. It don't cost that much to preach the kingdom of God. Are you getting what I'm telling you? You're trying to take the whole sacrifice. In other words, you're trying to take the entire offering that the church has raised. Instead of the church being a blessing unto you and giving you a love offering, no, you're charging wages. You're charging wages. You can't rob the church and think that God is pleased with your foolishness. You can't rob the church and think that God is pleased with your folly. That's the wickedness in the heart of the man. Are you getting what I'm telling you? Your flesh has corrupted the spiritual things of God. He said these spiritual gifts have we given unto you. You're giving them in the spirit. So why can't you reap the material benefits? Are you getting what I'm telling you? He said, what is it profit me to gain the whole world and lose my soul? That's the question you have to ask your pastor. Instead of leaving church Sunday in and Sunday out, talking behind your pastor's back, go and ask your pastor, Pastor, what does it profit you? What does it benefit you to gain the material benefits? The same preacher, the same Paul that you stand in your congregations and preach about Sunday in and Sunday out is telling you that he found it robbery to take a wage from the church, that he found it robbery to take money for preaching the gospel. He said, my reward is laid up in heaven for me. He said, my reward is that the Most High has called me to teach the gospel, to preach the kingdom of God is near, to win souls unto Christ. Are you getting what I'm telling you? But you want to suffer for the things of this world. You want to drive around in your fancy Ferraris. You want to drive around in your fancy Bentleys. You want to get on your TV shows called The Preachers of LA. Are you getting what I'm telling you? With your vain repetitious prayers and your fancy garments and your fancy suits. You want to look real fixed up on the inside, but on the outside, look at you. You look foolish to those who are awake in the kingdom of heaven. Are you getting what I'm telling you? Paul said, you're putting obstacles in the way of those who are truly trying to follow the gospel of truth. He said, what then is my reward? He said, I preach the gospel of God unto you for free. He said, stop carrying your beggar's bags to these folks' churches, to your big mega churches and to your conventions, asking people for their last, talking about if it don't meet the need, it's a seed. But it's some people in your congregation who need a blessing from you, Pastor. When are you going to put your congregation first and stop putting your family before your congregation in the word of God? Are you getting what I'm telling you? It's some congregation members that can use that $10,000 that they're offering you to come to their church and speak lies. One lie after another lie. Are you getting what I'm telling you? How many times will you go to a church and tell them that you're going to charge so much amount of money to come and speak and deliver and heal the people? Bringing falsehood into the gospel, propaganda in the gospel, wickedness in the gospel, pollution in the gospel, corruption in the gospel. Are you getting what I'm telling you? Preacher, you got to stop robbing the church at some point. The scripture said, will a man rob God? But preacher, you robbing God. They said, will a man rob God? Yeah, he have robbed me. When you robbing God? He said, well, I'm not robbing the church. You are robbing the church because the people in the church and they're coming into the house of worship to be delivered into the spiritual hospital. Listen. Every preacher and every pastor need to leave the offering plate outside of the sanctuary, because when you come into the sanctuary, it's supposed to be the holies of holies. They're supposed to get delivered. They're supposed to get set free from their sicknesses, as the scripture just said to us in the book of Matthew, the 10th chapter. He said, go preach the kingdom of heaven. When are you going to preach the kingdom of heaven and stop preaching prosperity? Yeah, we're going to be prosperous if we continue to follow the kingdom of heaven. Are you getting what I'm telling you? I'm just telling you what your congregation is talking about you behind your back, preacher, and scared to tell you to your face, stop taking the church money. Are you getting what I'm telling you? You're robbing the people. You're offending the people. You're putting the obstacle in the way of the gospel because the people are being blinded by all of the money and the fancy things that you have, the material benefits that you are reaping from the people, and the people are struggling. Are you getting what I'm telling you? Come back to your right senses, preacher. Come back to your right senses, pastor. Church, I blame you. I blame you, church, for the foolishness that's going on in the church, for the preachers and the pastors that continue to rob the gospel. Are you getting what I'm telling you? Blessings and peace be upon you. Stop robbing the church, preacher. God didn't call you to do that. Shalom. Hotel.